What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 10 of the Downtown Browntown podcast. I'm your host, Downtown Brown. Today we're going to discuss the Bucks 112-109 win against the Dallas Mavericks on Friday night, as well as the upcoming matchup tonight against the Brooklyn Nets, the new-look Nets with James Harden. I'll go over the trade as well, what my initial thoughts are on it, and what my expectations of the Nets will be the season going forward with James Harden on the roster. And then we're also going to preview the Bucks-Lakers on Thursday night as well. Before we do that, just want to keep you informed that my article for Brady Street Banter, my boy Dylan Trapp's newspaper, will be coming out. Sorry about that. In the next week or so. So just keep an eye out for that. And if you're interested in getting a copy, you can reach out to me or him for more details. He has a website as well to grab his newspaper, so be on the lookout for that. Also, I'm going to be doing a giveaway coming up here. We're going to give away a $25 Amazon gift card. Look out for a post on my Twitter and Instagram for more details on that. Probably going to be something towards the lines of you must subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram, and then like my latest video, which will probably come this coming Friday or Saturday with a review of the Bucks-Lakers game. So more details to come there, but just wanted to keep you guys informed of that. So let's get into the Mavericks-Bucks game here. Bucks win 112-109. Giannis, your leading scorer with 31 points, 9 boards. We all know how bad the free throws were, 1 for 10 from the line. Boy, was that tough to watch. But still coming away with the win, pretty impressive there. Middleton finishes the game with 25 points, 8 boards, 6 assists, and the 2 big threes there at the end of the fourth quarter to propel the Bucks to that victory, one that they desperately needed with 2 tough games coming up here this week. And then you got Jrue Holiday coming in with 16.7 for 15 from the field, 2 steals and a block as well. I mean, just goes to show how incredible he is as a defensive player. We're seeing that game in and game out. Giannis makes comments on how amazing Jrue Holiday is on defense, and just watch him. I mean, seeing how strong he is when guys try to back him into the post, just his general knack of being able to steal the ball away from guys, getting in those passing lanes. I mean, he just makes it look easy, and it continues to show in the stats and just from an eye test perspective. So great game again from Jrue Holiday there. We'll go over a couple things that I really liked about the game. You know, Luka went off with a triple-double, 28 points, 13 assists, 10 boards. Tim Hardaway had a good game for them. They were making some tough shots, tough contested shots. Porzingis looked pretty good as well. He made some really tough shots. I mean, that little one-step Dirk fadeaway was just pretty spectacular. He's a great player, and as he continues to get more healthy, they're going to be a force, that's for sure. I still think they're one piece away from really making a finals run, but they still got a very good team, and they'll be around for a long time. Bucks getting the 3-point win there. Obviously, I'm going to start with one of my negatives of the game, and that's that the Bucks were 12 for 25 from the free throw line, 48%. I mean, that's absolutely horrendous. You're not going to win many games like that. And Giannis obviously being 1 for 10% doesn't really help that. Most of the other guys shot pretty well from the line, with only 3 other misses there, or 4 other misses there. But again, for us to be able to win a game where we shoot that badly from the free throw line, that is something to keep in mind there. I mean, if we would have lost the game, that's what everyone would have been talking about. And even knowing that we won the game, that's all everyone was talking about. So still getting that slim margin of victory. Not shooting great from the field, 44%. I mean, that's pretty solid, but you'd like it to be a little higher. 37% from 3, not bad. I thought they shot the ball pretty well. Middleton struggled in a lot of the first half shooting, but I mean, he was 8 for 20 from the game, so not great by his standards. He's usually a little more efficient, but again, I mean, him hitting those 2 threes at the end of the game to kind of ice it for us was absolutely huge. I mean, people don't realize how clutch of a player he is, and some Bucks fans really just get on him for, not being consistent, and I get it. He's been inconsistent, but his level or his like margin of or volatility of like being consistent and non-consistent has shrunk a lot. Like he is definitely more efficient a lot of the time and is pretty consistent now going forward. I mean, he's been a closer for the Bucks too. I mean, we saw what he did in Game 4 against the Heat in the bubble when Giannis was out. I mean, he carried that team. I mean, right there and then I've always respected Middleton as a player, and he's been clutch for us at times, but I have gotten on him in the past for being a little inconsistent, mainly the last. I would want to say the 2019 run when we lost to the Raptors. That season, he was definitely had more volatility in terms of consistency versus inconsistency. But I think he's improved a lot, especially this year and even last year as well. So just being able to see that from him, I mean, him being able to close games, he's done it for the Bucks time in and time out. So for him to hit those 2 shots was huge. I mean, one of those was a contested 3, just bam, right in there. I mean, it was huge. So great game for Middleton there, even though it wasn't his most efficient performance. But again, I thought he defended Luka pretty well as well. A lot of times when Drew was guarding Luka, and I thought he did a pretty good job. He got burned a few times, but Luka's really got some dirty head fakes and stuff like that. But I thought Middleton really played well and defended Luka pretty well when they were switching onto him. So great game from him overall, and we'll see what happens here tonight. But again, yeah, the free throw shooting was horrendous and almost caused them to lose the game. I think people are gonna be like, oh, well, they still beat the Mavericks. They're a good team, but they were missing 2 of their best versatile defenders in Dorian Finney-Smith and Maxi Kleber. 2 guys who are pretty good and can hit 3-point shots as well. I mean, honestly, if they have those guys in that game, the Bucks probably don't take the win. And I'm just being honest there. I mean, it's always in hindsight. Like, the game could have been completely different if those guys played. I get that. I definitely believe in that sort of philosophy. But again, if they have those 2 versatile wing defenders who, I'm not saying that they can stop Giannis, but they're going to be able to contain him a little bit better than what they had in guys like James Johnson guarding Giannis or even Porzingis. I think that game might have swung a different direction. So, but it is what it is. The Bucks are winning games, and that's really all that matters right now, especially since they've been, knock on wood, avoiding the COVID outbreaks that other teams have been getting and haven't forced them to miss any games so far. So the Bucks are winning games, and really that's all we got to care about at this point in time. That's why I'm here to go over the things that I like, I don't like, and what I'd like to see going forward from the team to make sure that we're continuing to get wins. So the free throw shooting, obviously my biggest negative there. Another one was the bench didn't really give you much. I mean, all of Bobby Portis, Forbes, Augustine, all less than 10 points. Connaughton as well. I think it was right around 25 to 30 points off the bench, which isn't bad, but we weren't having that Bobby Portis 17 points. Bryn Forbes getting into double figures like we've been getting more used to. Pat Connaughton hovering right around 8 points a game, something like that. So we weren't getting that production. And we're never going to expect Thanasis to get 5 points like he did in the game on Friday night. So just not a great performance from the bench. I thought they looked pretty lackluster most of the game. Taking bad shots, not making shots that they should make. But we're going to get that from the bench every now and then. Obviously, when we lost to the Heat the second game, that was another one where you kind of scratch your head a little bit and be like, man, this bench can be great, but they're going to have games where they're just not playing well, and a lot of those games the Bucks are going to have a hard time winning. But luckily, we pulled off the win against Dallas Mavericks, a team that has really given the Bucks problems in the past. So that was a big thing for me. And even though we won this game, I feel like I have more negatives than I do positives. I mean, Giannis still played well. It's a positive. Middleton being a closer. Drew's defense. Brook Lopez, 11 points, 11 boards. Pretty solid for him. 2 for 5 from 3. Dante, 2 for 4 from 3. Only 6 points coming off those 2 threes. I mean, that's not great, but efficient. He was 2 for 5 total in the game, going 2 for 4 from 3. So not going to kill you there. But I just feel like there were more negative things, even though the Bucks won the game, which is kind of odd. So my other negative was just the offense in most of the second half, specifically in the fourth quarter. I mean, I remember saying during the first half of the game when the Bucks were cruising to a nice mid-teens lead, like 15-ish points, I was like, man, this game isn't stressful right now. Like, this is great. I'm enjoying it. I'm not like on the edge of my seat, like getting pissed off or anything like that. But then, in that end of third quarter, fourth quarter, they just were playing iso ball on offense, taking bad shots, just going to the end of the clock, like maybe 6 seconds left, finally generating some offense. It's like, we got to move the ball more, screen off the ball, get guys moving, get guys open, turn down good shots for great shots, like we've been doing a lot this year. That did not happen against the Mavericks on Friday night, and I just don't get why that happens. Like, the Bucks, like, it seems like when they get complacent, they have these nice leads, they just kind of play hero ball, iso ball, and just chuck up these bad shots, and then the teams slowly creep up and start to gain momentum and maybe even grab a lead like the Dallas Mavericks did. Against great teams, the Bucks aren't going to be able to pull off wins like that, playing that lackluster offense when they have a nice, comfortable lead. As crazy as it sounds, sometimes I wish the games were a little closer, so that the Bucks don't get into this complacent offense where they're just chucking up bad shots, playing iso ball. So that's a big negative for me. I just don't understand it. I really don't. I don't know if that's the coach or just the players. I don't know what it is, but that really frustrates me, and that was a big negative for me in the game as well. But luckily, they still pulled the win off. So again, there's my review of the Bucks against the Mavericks on Friday night. So let's get right into the Bucks-Nets game at 5:30 here on TNT today in Brooklyn. Obviously, the blockbuster trade, James Harden going to the Brooklyn Nets, they gave up Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, Kyrus, and 3 first-round picks, 4 first-round swaps. So here's how we break it down. So it's a 4-team trade. Obviously, the Nets get Harden. The Rockets get Victor Oladipo, Kyrus from the Nets, and 3 first-round picks from the Nets, and 4 unprotected first-round pick swaps. And the first-round picks are unprotected as well. Again, just to break down what the protection means, if a pick is unprotected, that means that if it's the number 1 pick, the Nets got to give up that pick to the Rockets. A lot of times picks are 1 through 3 protected or 1 through 5 protected, so that if a team is really bad and they have a top 5 pick, that means that they don't have to give that pick up. Then they just roll it over to the next year. So that's a lot to give up for Harden. I mean, they got the best player, so I ultimately think they won the deal, but they gave up a lot of defense in this trade as well. So going down the line here, the Pacers then get Karis LeVert who goes from the Rockets to the Pacers then in the swap for Oladipo. So they get Karis LeVert and a 2nd-round pick, and then the Cavs swoop in and get Jared Allen, Taurean Prince, by giving up a Bucks first-round pick that I think they got from the George Hill trade. So I thought the Cavs did a great job just giving up 1 lower-round first-round pick. It's going to be the Bucks pick, so obviously it's going to be down there, for getting a great defensive player in Jared Allen, who has played really well for the Nets, and Taurean Prince, who has the DNA to be a 3-and-D level player, but just hasn't been able to perform consistently, specifically on the offensive end. So, again, I thought the Rockets, they gave up a lot. 3 unprotected first-round picks, 4 unprotected swaps. Obviously, we don't know what the swaps are going to be. Jeez, I got to get this thing out of the way a little bit here. So that's a lot to give up. We don't know what the swaps are going to be. The picks go through 2027, so we really don't know what they're going to end up being. But again, they gave a lot up, a lot of defense as well. Karis LeVert's a great young player for them too. Obviously, he's had some injury concerns, but he is a very, very good offensive player. Similar skill set to an Oladipo, more of a slasher kind of guy who can hit 3-point shots. Not in the elite realm of 3-point shooting, but again, I thought the Cavs did a great job in the trade, just giving up that low first-round pick for a great player in Jared Allen. I like the move from the Pacers. Oladipo probably going to leave in the offseason. Getting a guy like a Karis LeVert who has 2 more years on his deal at a pretty friendly deal. I think it's around $15-18 million, but still, that's a pretty good bargain for a player like him. Giving up Oladipo then, and the Rockets, I mean, they got a lot of picks in those swaps, but hopefully they think Oladipo is a generational player that's going to stay with them. Otherwise, I don't really understand the trade from their perspective. Obviously getting a lot of picks, but they probably could have got Ben Simmons. So a little head scratching from the Rockets there, unless Oladipo really turns into the player that he was when he was All NBA a couple seasons ago. Just don't know his injury concerns. He has played pretty well this year when he was on the Pacers, 20 points per game, looking pretty solid. So, but again, the Nets got Harden, and boy, are they going to be a hard team to defend. I mean, three elite offensive players, three of the best offensive players in the game: Kyrie, KD, and Harden. I mean, gosh. And then rounding it up with Joe Harris and DeAndre Jordan probably in their starting five. It's a pretty dang good offensive team. Their defense took a huge hit by losing Allen. But again, I think that just having three of those guys who they'll probably have one of them in the game at all times. So you're always going to have an elite offensive player on the floor. They're going to be putting up a lot of points. They're going to be in a lot of shootouts. The Bucks are going to have to score against them to beat them and going to have to lock down on D a little bit. So I think that the Nets are obviously a championship contender in the East, and they probably are the favorites in the East at this point. I'm not saying that the Bucks aren't better than them, but I can't disagree how they're not the favorites coming out of the East. But going to be a tough team, that's for sure. Luckily, Kyrie's out tonight. He is, I think, back with the team, but he's not in great condition, so he will miss the game tonight. So it's going to be just Harden and KD and the boys going up against the Bucks and Giannis, Middleton, Drew. The Bucks got to win this game, especially with Kyrie being out. I mean, this is a big test for them, and they got to show up and play hard and make shots. They're going to have to make shots to beat this team because we know that they're going to be able to put up points with Harden and KD, Joe Harris knocking down shots. I mean, they still got guys like Bruce Brown, Shamet coming off the bench who can provide some scoring for them. So, I mean, they did take a dip in terms of their depth. That's a little tongue twister there. But they still got Jeff Green, who's played pretty well for them this season, and those two wing players that I just mentioned. Obviously, their team is probably not completely settled at this point. They'll probably get someone through another trade, maybe, or throughout the buyout market, getting a big man to solidify their rotation. So this Nets team is legit. They're no joke, and the Bucks got to show up and play a really good game to beat them. Giannis has got to be making those free throws. Bucks got to make their free throws to win this game. Got to make three-point shots when they're open. Got to play good defense. I assume Drew Holiday is going to guard Harden. That's going to be box office. Can't wait to watch that. I think Giannis will probably match up against KD, maybe a little bit of Middleton on him as well. Keep an eye out for that to see who's going to have KD. They're probably going to be doubling him a little bit because it's Kevin Durant, and he's just maybe the best offensive player I've ever witnessed in my lifetime. I didn't really witness much of Jordan. I was too young. So, I mean, really, KD, Kobe Bryant, probably two of the best offensive players I've ever seen play this game. So Bucks got to be on their stuff to win this game, and I think they can. You know, obviously it's a little tougher on the road, but the Bucks are coming in healthy, and I think they got it. They got to win this game. I think they should be favored to win this game. I really hope to see Torrey Craig get the Thanasis minutes. Still haven't seen it quite yet, but I really hope we could use a guy like him to play in this game, a defensive specialist coming off the bench. It's going to be a tough game, but I think the Bucks can pull it off. And again, look for those defensive matchups. See who the Bucks are putting on Harden and Harden and Kevin Durant. And it's going to be a battle. And these are games that we need to see the Bucks win to feel better about this team. So I'm confident that they can, and I can't wait to watch it. So that's the game tonight, and then the Bucks will face off against the Lakers on Thursday. Gosh, that's going to be a great game. The Lakers are playing really well. Obviously, LeBron, AD coming off a title in the bubble. Got guys like Schroeder, Marc Gasol, Kyle Kuzma, KCP. They got a stacked team, and they're going to be tough to beat. I was very fortunate enough to see the Bucks play the Lakers in Milwaukee last year when Giannis went, I want to say 5 for 8 from 3 that game. And he put the crown on his head. Remember after he made that 1-3? Gosh, that was an amazing game. Can't wait to get back to a game like that in person here, hopefully sooner than later. But going to be a tough game against the Lakers. I'm obviously going to be having an episode about that, really dissecting that game either Friday or Saturday, probably Saturday. And again, look for the giveaway posts that I'm going to put on Twitter and Instagram coming in the next few days here for that $25 Amazon gift card. And thanks again for watching. 10 episodes in. I've really enjoyed it so far. I hope you guys have too, and really appreciate the support. Again, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as follow me on Instagram at downtown_brown33 and at Twitter downtown_brown. So thanks again, guys, and can't wait to watch the Bucks, Giannis, Drew, and Middleton go against the Nets with KD and Harden. So gonna be a great game. Hope you guys enjoy it. Have a good night. Go Bucks.